This is Alex with Utah Sustainable Gardening. This is half of a swarm I'm trying to collect. It's September the 30th. This was posted on Facebook last night. I got it an hour after it was posted. Nobody had taken it yet. That's unheard of. But then again, it is a September swarm. Now, I didn't want to cut the branch on this tree because well, first of all, it's a branch that the owner would want to keep. Being a tree pruner and doing it for a living, I know that that's not a good branch to take off, and it's so late in the year, that's going to be a problem. Now, the hive I've chosen for this is my mini, which is actually the only hive I have, but it's a good size for this because these bees aren't going to take any more room than that. The problem is, I think I've not been able to shake off or brush off the queen, and I think she's up here, so I'm going to have to kind of hang around, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to entice them into the hive. Now, down at the hive, they're doing fanning, but they've also been doing dances, so they're confused, and I don't blame them. This is not an ideal situation for them at all, and I'm taking a risk actually by even trying to get this. With the hives that kick out swarms this time of year, there's usually a reason. Either they're not happy where they're at, they're sick, but they're not in good shape, and they will have no stores for the winter. So chances of me getting this hive to survive, even if I can entice the queen in there, are very low. And if they're sick, if they've got high levels of varroa, if they've got a bacterial disease or anything else, it could spread to my other hive because I've only got the one apiary. I don't have a place to quarantine this. So I'm taking a risk, but there is a benefit in knowledge that it can be gained from it. Overall, my hives are worth about $300 total, but I've paid substantially less for the two of them. There would be each one would be one of these would be 4 of these mini boxes, and like I said, I paid less than half of that for the two of them combined. So we're just going to have to try and wait for these bees to decide whether they're going to move in here or move somewhere else, and honestly, I don't know yet where they're going to go. I do look like I've got some congregation there on top of the hive. That's a feeding hole. I've stopped up the regular hole. As soon as I've decided whether I'm going to stay or go, I will put tape on that and transport the hive. It's got a ventilated bottom. It's screened, so I'm not worried about that issue. They'll get plenty of ventilation until I can get them established. So we're just going to have to see how it goes, play it by ear, and that cluster does look like it's decreasing in size a bit. So we might be getting him to move. But again, at this point, whether I get the queen, it's a crapshoot. I cannot control that without taking off that branch. And like I say, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to ruin this guy's tree. And so, you know, we're going to try it out and see how it goes. This is Alex Grover with Utah Sustainable Gardening. Manana. What's happening now is I'm getting a lot more bees on top of the hive. They're orienting towards the feeding hole that I've left open for them. I left that open because it's easier to tape it and untape it than it is the entrance. And we've had a great reduction in the number of bees there. So I've been watching from a distance, and I've been watching the air around, and I'm not seeing any bees going anywhere in mass. And when a swarm leaves, it's in mass. Even a small swarm like this, you'll see it, just a cloud of bees. But there are more and more bees congregating around the hive. So things are looking pretty good. It's not 100%. I'm still not sure what's going to happen with the queen. But I'm at least going to have a lot of bees, and we'll put them to work. And if nothing else, we'll create stores for my other hive if that's possible. Sorry, I had a bee there trying to nip on my hand, and I've got thin gloves on. And so either I got it or I don't have it. The next half an hour, that bundle of bees there should be reduced to nearly nothing. There'll be a few stragglers. I've told the gentleman who owns the property about that. And about that time, about half an hour, I'll go ahead, put tape back on the box, lock it up, and I'll move it out towards my truck. And I'll try and make sure there aren't any hangers on outside, because there's nothing worse than bees that might be a little bit pissed off at you for your activities, hanging around trying to sting you. So hopefully, like I say, hopefully I've got the queen, and then hopefully they're healthy, and then hopefully I can actually get them to survive through the winter. That's a lot of hopefuls. But I'm doing this not because I think I'm going to actually get productive bees. I'm doing this, well, one, because somebody needs some help on getting bees out of the area, and loose bees are an issue. And two, I can learn a lot from this experience. In my other videos, I've never stated it. I thought it was obvious, but I've had some responses that indicate that maybe I'm not so obvious. But I'm a new beekeeper, and so my chances on this are not really actually that good, but the experience I get and the learning I'll get are very key. So I'm going to back off, keep an eye on this hive, keep an eye on the colony, and see if they decide to stay or if they all just take off en masse from the box. Still a possibility. And then I will post, well, I'll go home, show you how I've situated them at home, and then I'll try and tie all these videos together, since I can't do it automatically on the cell phone. At least I don't know how. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll catch you later. Okay, back here at the September swarm. This is where the cluster was. There's a few bees left over. As long as none of them's a queen, I don't have a problem with that. And I'm not seeing anything. Down here, the patch of fanning bees has gone down. They're starting to go into the hive. Now, it's been long enough now. I need to pack this up and get headed for home. So, because there's so many bees on the outside, and I've got a vented bottom board, I'm actually going to tape up the hole on this. I'm going to put it in the back of my truck, which I usually don't like doing because I don't want that much wind. I'll just have to take it a little bit slow going home. I won't be on the freeway, although I will be on some, what you'd have to call expressways. Because there's going to be bees following me, and there will probably be bees hanging on the outside when I place this hive. So, I'm going to lose some. I'd prefer not to do that. Normally, if this were closer to home, I'd just come collect the hive in the evening, but this is 30 minutes away from my house, so the practicality is I'm not coming back tonight. It's especially since I've already got things scheduled that I sort of have to be at. So that'll be the next step. I've got my duct tape here, and we'll do that. Now I wanted to show you something over here. This is the homeowner's hives. We don't know if these were his bees yet, if one of them swarmed. I talked to him. He's new like me, been doing it about the same period of time, but he hasn't noticed anything when he did his last inspection about 2 weeks ago that indicated any problems per se. So there are some brown spots on that, but I'm not close enough to really tell if it's just normal weathering or if it's just propolis or if there's a disease problem. Looks like there might be some similar stuff on the other hives, but I really can't tell from this distance, and he's not here right now, so we're just gonna have to take the best shot on it and say we're probably gonna be okay. So there it is. Again, bees on top. I'll put the latches on it, throw it in the back of the truck. A few bees will spill behind me. Hopefully they'll all make it to a home. And hopefully this will end up being a productive hive. I mean, it's a long shot, but it's always fun to learn something new and try some challenges. So I'll tape this up and catch up with you later. Bye. This is Alex Grover with Utah Sustainable Gardening. This is the September swarm I picked up earlier today. I just took off the duct tape, sealing them in. They've been in there for a couple hours now. If you look around right now, you're going to see a lot of bees buzzing around. They're orienting so that they know where to go. They can move around. They can find their hive again. They're also going to be wanting to eliminate waste here pretty quick and probably get a drink of water. I'll turn around. I've got water for them. It doesn't look really great right now, I admit, but my bees haven't been using it all year. But it does get flushed out regularly, so it's actually not bad. In a lot of ways, those rocks are providing a lot of minerals if the bees actually used it. They haven't yet. So I'm going to pull off that tape. I'm going to plug in that feeder, give them something to eat. They might need it at this point. I don't know how long food supplies they can keep while they're traveling, while they're swarming. I am going to have to keep an eye on things. These bees look a lot more like my existing bees. There's just some are a little bit darker, some are a little bit lighter, so I've got to make sure that there's no thieving going on between the two of them, or at least try and eliminate it. So I forgot my entrance reducer over here. I'll have to get that either. It's probably not going to happen till tomorrow, but hopefully they can go a day without a problem. And that's pretty well it. It's going to be touch and go. I'm going to have to get some wire screen, number 8. That would be 1/8 of an inch gap in them, and do a mite check on it, because there's something that made these bees swarm, and I don't know what it is. So this is a big risk for both sets, for both hives, because this one's so close that it could infect this one and cause problems over here. So that's a risk I'm taking, and we're just gonna have to see how it goes. So there you have it, September swarm. I'll keep you informed on this one. Chances are really high it's gonna die, but you know, you don't venture anything, you don't gain anything. So we'll see how it goes. Manana.